Let's talk about what makes a good advertisement. I've been to a lot of networking events, and it's really surprising how many businesses struggle saying what they do and why that's valuable to their clients. I mean, many can't even articulate who their clients are. And I get it, I struggled with that as well. If you want an ad that converts, you need to do more than just say what you do and what you're the best price and that you offer the best customer service. I mean, everyone says that. Do you see why we're starting with this first? I mean, if your ad doesn't get your audience's attention and get them to click, then the rest of your digital marketing campaign is really null and void. So before I break down the structure of a good ad, let me emphasize that you need to understand this stuff. I mean, some of you are probably thinking, I can just outsource this to like a writer. From my experience, not all writers even understand these principles. Plus, the person in charge of the marketing at your organization, hint, hint, you need to be able to articulate these elements to the writer if you choose to use them. Help to go through the elements, and then the writer can combine those elements, make them sound good, make them sound pretty, or be a little bit more creative. So let's break down these elements. First, grab attention. You have anywhere from 5 to 15 seconds to grab your audience's attention. If you waste that time talking about something that they don't care about, then you'll lose them. I mean, think about it. How many messages do you get bombarded with on a daily basis? Research shows that in the 1970s, people saw maybe around 500 ads a day. But today we see more like 5 to 10,000. You've got to grab their attention right away. So how do you do that? Well, here are a few ideas, but the best thing I can say is that you need to be creative. Take the time to think, what could you do that would be unique and clever compared to your competition? So an easy way to start is to visually grab the viewer's attention. I mean, you can do that in many ways. You can show something beautiful or interesting, or you can wave your hand or do some different gestures to get them wondering, what the heck is this person talking about? I say this is an easy way to grab attention, but if you're waving your hands in front of every ad, it can get a little bit old. So be creative. Another way to grab attention is to show a statistic. People love facts. They love statistics that can pique their curiosity, make them wonder why. For example, you could say the majority of doctors report 70% of people have some issue that they don't even realize about. Wouldn't that make you wonder, what this issue is? Would me. Make sure your statistics are credible and well-researched. You're building trust with your audience, not just trying to dupe them. Similar to talking about statistics, you could also hit a pain point that you know that your customers are having. If you don't know what a pain point is, it's basically a problem your customer is having on a regular basis. It can't just be a little surface level problem. You have to go deep and have a widespread issue that majority of your clients are actually facing. For example, if you're an auto repair shop, you don't want to go into the pain point of, don't you just hate it when you get your oil changed and you get poor customer service? That's too surface level. You need to go deeper. Talk about the reasons behind the displeasure of a poor customer service experience. A technique I'll use is called the 5 whys. If you're not going deep enough, then use this to get to the base level of the reason why behind that issue. So why is poor customer service a problem? When you come up with the reason for that, then ask, why is that the reason? You keep asking why 5 times until you get to the real deep problem. It's usually a really big emotion. Another effective way to catch attention is to use comedy. As humans, we like to laugh and be entertained. Showing something funny right up front, will often get the viewer to pay attention and want to know more. Finally, one that we'll use often is by calling out our customers' demographics. Simply starting out by saying, "Hey, chiropractors." It'll make the viewer think, how did you know I was a chiropractor? So calling them out is actually a really great way. Okay, now that you've caught your target's attention, the next step is to connect with them. The key thing here is to talk about them, your customer, not you. All too often businesses will jump right in and say, this is what we can do. Don't do that, not yet. A great thing to do is to either start or continue talking about those pain points that the customer is facing. So for example, if you sell unique grocery bags, you could say, don't you hate it when your arms are full of groceries and you're just about to get to your car and then rip, your bag tears and all the food goes everywhere. You're taking more time to relate to them. You want your audience to think, they really get me, they understand me. That's when you begin to build a relationship of trust. Once you've caught their attention and you've started to relate to them, only then can you then talk about your business and what you offer. If you've touched on the pain point, talk about how your business solves that pain point in a unique way. This is where you key up your business as the ideal solution to their problems. Be careful not to sell too much up front. Remember, your ad should lead the viewer to just a single action. That's what we call the call to action. Don't have multiple offers or multiple things that they can do. Specifically tell them what to do. Now that leads me to the offer. Depending on what kind of advertising strategy you have, you'll either have a promotional based offer or not, something else. Now, if not, your goal is probably just to get people aware of your company. Those campaigns are good, but I highly recommend that you use an offer. Only with an offer will you see fast results like an influx of new customers. An offer is something with high perceived value, with low risk or low barriers, and in limited supply. So let's break this down. High perceived value is really important. The customer has to understand and see that what you're offering, it's valuable. For example, if I were to say to you guys right now, I'll give you a bottle of XYZ product, it's only $50. Is that very valuable to you? No, why? Is it because you have no idea what product XYZ is, nor what it will do for you? Exactly. Recognize that your ideal customer may have no idea that you throwing in an extra something for some great price is valuable or not. You need to break it down for them and help them understand how it's valuable and what it's worth. So if I were to say, add our hotel that's just 5 minutes away from Disneyland, California to your vacation package and we'll throw in 2 tickets to Disneyland parks for free. Would you understand the value? Probably right away. If your product offering is not as well known as like Disneyland, then explain it better. Like, you'll get a bottle of our pain relief ointment that 9 out of 10 patients say eliminates pain within 30 seconds, only for $49, which is normally $100. By giving a little bit more detail, I help contextualize the value. Now that we've talked about high perceived value, let's talk about low risk and low barriers. This basically means that the more hoops you take someone through, or the higher the commitment that's required, then the less likely they'll be to actually take you up on your offer. For example, if you're trying to get your customer to fly out to New York to attend one of your live events, recognize that an event like that requires a lot of commitment. They'll need to take time off of work or be away from their family. They'll have to get lodging and pay for meals, and it may not be that comfortable for them to go flying. Maybe they don't like it. See how that can take a lot out of them? I remember seeing one campaign where the offer required the viewer to do all kinds of things, almost like a scavenger hunt, to get this deal. If it's more work than it's worth, a person won't take you up on the offer. And the goal is that you want people to take you up on an offer so they'll become a new client of yours, a new customer of yours. Finally, you want to put some type of urgency into your ad, like a cutoff date or a limited number. If it's a date, then be specific and pick a date that's not too far in the future. If they feel like they've got plenty of time to do something before the date actually comes, they probably won't do it. Phrases like in the next 24 hours or ending this Saturday or tonight at midnight, those are usually pretty good. Clients of mine often get confused too when we put a limited number in the ad. For example, this offer is only good for the next 10 people, so don't wait. The reality is that you as the business owner have ability to not only take the first 10, but you can also take hundreds if you wanted. Think about it. If the offer is bringing in new clients, then take in as many as you'd like. We do the limiting number in the ad specifically to help the viewer take action. If they don't take action right now, they'll probably miss the offer. A final note about the offer, what we see works is giving your product or service at a discount in the offer. I tell my clients all the time, value is created after the experience. That means that once the brand new customer comes in and experiences your service or buys your product, only then do they truly understand the value you provide. So you need to look at the discount you're offering as a part of your customer acquisition cost. Some of you may say, well, we don't discount our services because it devalues the product. Well, the reality is the pool of new customers are being courted by your competition and you. If your competition's offering a deal and you're not, where's the customer gonna go? You're trying to win over customers. So don't let your competition take them away from you. Don't make the mistake of thinking discounts aren't a part of regular business. So that wraps up this section about ads. Remember that this is one of the most important parts of this entire course. If you don't get your ads structured correctly with the right elements, then the rest of what I teach you really won't matter.